into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Get my dance on here. I love it. It like puts me in the mood.
It's just good, and every time they show it with the credits and stuff on the show, I just get so excited because it just sounds amazing.
It's epic and awesome, which is exactly what the show is.
Exactly.
You tell I'm a little excited today, huh?
Yeah, she is, like Heather is extra excited today because she was like, "This is a great episode."
It really was, actually. I mean, this might have been my favorite. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't disagree with you. I think it was absolutely great. So, hey guys, welcome to the Shannara Chronicles After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. We're gonna be talking about recapping and general shenanigizing.
Shenanigizing for the Shannara. Shannara-gizing.
We're gonna be Shannara-gizing. That's gonna be a new thing. Okay, we're gonna be Shannara-gizing for episode 7, which is Breakline. And who? Oh, unfortunately, we don't have Carrie here.
No, it's just us two tonight.
It's just us two tonight.
It's not the same.
It's really not the same unless both of my girls, both of my chicas are here. But that's okay. So anyway, introduce yourself, my lovely Heather.
Hello. I'm lovely Heather. That's your words, not mine. I'm Heather Gardner. You can tweet us. Do it right now, actually. I'll answer. I'll let you go off. I'll just be like,
yeah, I'm gonna do the show myself. She's gonna manage the tweet.
That's right. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Heather G TV.
Oh,
I almost said the wrong one. I got married recently, and I can never get it straight.
Did you used to have one different before?
Yeah. Well, my maiden name.
Oh, okay.
But when you say something for like 20 some odd years,
yeah, I don't know.
It's hard. I'm sorry.
No.
Heather GTV.
I don't know. I don't think I'll be changing mine. Let's just say that. But anyway, you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at MGCVSST. Right. Of course, you can find AfterBuzz on many social platforms, but we'll recap that at the end. Yeah. Anyway, let's get started because this episode was super, super great.
And jam-packed with a lot of information. It really was.
Yeah, jam-packed with a lot of information. I mean, first off, we're introduced to some new characters, which are pretty
scary.
Pretty scary, totally crazy characters. So let's talk about these elf hunters. I mean, we have Will. He wakes up in the stream.
Okay, I'm kind of wondering. Like, I was a bit confused because they were way up in this ravine or whatever. Was it okay? Is it my imagination? Was it snowing? Was it not snowing?
I mean, I'm just gonna throw it out here that I think what happened is probably they fell into some sort of river
valley,
and then like valley river thing, and then they just kind of got like pushed down with the current or the stream, and then they ended up somewhere else. I think that's probably the easiest way to
It was very peculiar to me because we see Will waking up, which is good. We knew that our favorite characters weren't gonna die that way. But I love how the bad guy died, but the other three were they fell in the ravine in this river, potentially got swept away. No major injuries. No need for the extra makeup.
No,
of course not.
No need for that. But along the way, so first we're actually introduced, I guess, to like Perk and the elf hunters kind of around the same time. But let's go with the elf hunters first. That is one intimidating lady. Her name is Zora.
Yeah, she's crazy.
She is super, super intimidating.
I feel like this episode, as it gave us a lot of information, but it also left us with a lot of questions. Like, I mean, obviously they're elf hunters, but I mean, they believe that the elf ears are magical. They have healing properties.
Actually, it's the gnomes that believe that. So they sell it to the gnomes, and they're just like, we got these guys, like, whatever. We're going to one-up them. So that's why they sell it to them. Because they must pay a hefty price if they think they have magical powers, so.
See, maybe I missed that before. Did they mention that elves have magical ear powers? Well, is that like a thing?
I don't think so. I think that's what the gnomes think.
See, that's why I was like, this is new.
Otherwise, I totally need some.
I know, right? Yeah. So we meet the one character. forgive me, I'm the worst with names in real life too. But the guy with his ear cut off.
Okay, so the guy with the ear cut off, his name is Perk, and he's an elf. So he's like bleeding, you know, like in super pain, and almost like attacks Will, or like.
You know, I don't blame him for that. After you have your ear cut off, I wouldn't trust too many people ever again. You know.
I completely agree with you, Heather. I wouldn't trust people either. I feel like that is. I mean, you don't really know, and especially because you can't. He has kind of like longer hair and whatnot. It's hard to see at first that he's an elf, but they kind of get like on the same page, and he updates him with what these people kind of are.
What they are, stay away from them. His partner, which that's another interesting thing. Little tidbit. We'll get to that.
We'll get to Perk's little partner.
But yeah, I mean, right off the bat, we see Zora and the elf hunters. They're definitely not somebody you want to cross, especially if you have the magical elf ears.
Right. What I found, you know, I guess. I just found them very interesting because I didn't know whether or not, like, at first I was like, are these going to be rovers as well? But I guess they're
different.
They're different. I guess they could be like rovers, kind of, because rovers kind of steal and like kill whatever and all that stuff. So I guess this is kind of like
generally they are rovers, but they're a different kind, because I didn't feel like the rovers that we saw, like Eretria's people and Cephalo, they weren't really so, you know, murder heavy for my own, you know, capture, enslave, but not
tie up.
Yeah, but not murder, you know.
I don't know. These people were just like off the wall for me. But anyway, they're kind of an interesting introduction. But so they figure out, right, that there's like elves around, you know, and that there's going to be some elves around. There's somehow now I'm like blanking, but
I was really confused by that part too. Skipping ahead just a little bit, we also know that Eretria and Amberly meet up together.
Yeah.
They're separated from Will, but they find each other and they're okay as well. They survive.
Yes.
But they go through the forest, and then clearly they're trying to stay away from these elf hunters, these other rovers. But Zora knows right off the bat that Amberly is a royal elf.
Okay, I will tell you.
How did she figure that out?
I will tell you, because I think, so they start chasing them, you know, through the forest and whatnot. They're like running away, and at some point they like trip and fall down.
Right.
And then Amberly's sword gets left behind.
Okay.
And the sword has like a royal crest or something.
Okay.
So it was like almost immediate. It was like, let's round up all our people and get everybody on this, because we need these ears.
Right.
These are extra special elf ears. These are
Who
like
knew?
These are like the Bloomingdales of
Well, it's not very good that it's not very good that Amberly lost her sword.
I know. I'm like, girl. And on top of
You
that,
had one job.
No.
Protect yourself.
On top of that, she literally doesn't even notice that it's gone.
She's not a very good warrior.
No, I mean, you know, but that makes sense, I guess. She's never really, like, been
Heroes in training. We've said that this whole time. They're heroes in training.
They are totally heroes in training. And at some point, they kind of, I feel like they don't know that they're going to come, like, after them, that they've, like, kind of discovered what they are. But then they get to this kind of open area, and they're standing there, and it's very clear what's going to happen.
Yep.
I'm like, something's about to happen here, because there was, like, you could see the little floorboards and whatnot, and I'm like, okay. And they fall through this, like, this enormous whole thing. And this actually brings me, it's, like, probably one of the most, like, I guess, like, one of the most interesting sequences.
It was, I like this sequence as well, this scene.
I loved the prom sequence.
Yes.
I guess that's what I'm going to call it. I'm just going to call it the prom sequence.
So, I'm curious, though, as to, like, were they, like, standing, I'm assuming they're standing on the roof. Had, like, the earth grown around this school?
I guess.
It must have been.
I guess. I was reading actually some reviews and some recaps, and someone was like, you know, I mean, it's funny how this kind of thing stayed almost intact for like 3,000 years. So I guess, yeah, everything just kind of grew around it. It might have been like it might have literally been like a high school gym or something.
That's what it looked like to me.
Because it had like stands and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I found it so funny. It's just like, it was like prom so clearly. And it's kind of a really nostalgic scene in a way. I don't know. At that moment, I was just like, it's almost like their childhood and their like youth is kind of like fading, just because they're like daunted with this quest, this really intense quest.
That's a very interesting way to look at it. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
You're so deep.
I know. I'm very deep today. I'm very, very deep. But yeah, that's kind of how I felt it. And, you know, Amberly's having fun looking around.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like I would too. It's like they've stepped back in time quite literally 3,000 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would be intrigued as well. Eretria was at least, she was a little trepidatious about everything. Why is everything still here? And, you know, and Amberly's just like, this is so cool, kind of seeing everything and going through the yearbook. I thought that was interesting as well.
That was super, super great. I loved that scene just because it's like, I don't know, it's something that I guess they don't have, obviously.
Yeah. No school, no traditional things like we know.
No, exactly. And definitely no yearbooks, probably no photographs either.
That's
so
true.
that's kind of like a nice thing. Even though I feel like Eretria was definitely like not on board. She's like, dude, we got to get out of here. You know what I mean?
You know what? And she probably had a point.
She totally had a point, because if you have those 2 hunters like on your tail or anywhere close by, I'd be trying to get my butt out of there ASAP.
But they did have, while they were kind of looking through everything, and they did have kind of a moment. I felt like Eretria really, she was still trying to play it off as, I don't even care, I don't like you guys. Yeah. But Amberly was so quick.
Amberly totally called her out.
She did.
I'm thankful about that, because even though it almost seemed like her return was a little bit sarcastic, like what she kind of fires back with almost seemed like sarcasm. But I really liked it, because I'm like, she's kind of like being like, bro, or, you know, girl. Like, girl, like, cut it out. We're in this together. You know, there's no need for that anymore. And I do like it that it was like this kind of veneer, kind of just like, they lifted it up, you know, we're kind of, the veil's gone. Like, it's kind of a little bit more transparent. And even though she's still a tough girl, we really do kind of see them have like a little click moment. And I thought we were gonna have another little moment like the bathtub.
Oh gosh.
Which I was gonna be like, totally the wrong moment to pull that move.
Well,
girl.
I mean, Amberly is like the queen of kissing at the wrong moment. I mean, let's just throw it out there.
She total queen of kissing at the wrong moment. So I mean, that wouldn't have surprised me, I guess. But you know, anyway, Eretria is like doing all sorts of rapping and trying to get
we did figure out a lot about her too, because we had said we didn't know much about her background, but we found out that she was pretty much a slave. That she an orphan, and Amberly, they kind of bonded over that.
And like,
exactly, she was sold to Cephalo, and
which, you know, I'm very glad he wasn't in this episode. He creeps the crap out of me.
He's gonna come back, okay? You know he's gonna come back.
I know he's gonna come back, but I'm like disappointed. I'm just like, why is he still around? I just don't.
Well, he was okay up until he, like, you know, sent them to their death, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, they have this kind of, like we said, bonding moment. We get to hear a lot about her background, and no parents, into this really harsh life of pretty much slavery. So yeah, it was a good eye-opening moment, I thought, for sure.
It was totally, I totally agree with you. And on to that eye-opening / background building or backstory building, the elf hunters appear.
Of course they do, because they spent way too much time hanging out in the school.
Yeah, they're just like chilling, killing time. I mean, granted, there's no like exit that you're just like, hey, let me just like walk out of here. So I mean, they're just kind of like exploring and whatnot, and they managed to get one of the elf hunters, but then the other one, Zora, which is the one that we will tell you about in a second, because I'm like dying to talk about this. But Zora ends up kind of creeping up on them and whatnot. Turns out Zora and Eretria, they have somewhat, they kind of know each other.
Kind of know each other. I think that's a little understatement. It's like, where you been? Like, you know.
Like, yo, girl, you left me hanging, like, high and dry.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It was definitely, again, we're learning a little bit more, and I thought that this episode, as much information as it gave us, it left us with so many questions.
Oh, I have a bunch of questions.
I do too.
Because that pairing, for some reason, seemed so fitting, even though, just because they're so, like, badass, both of them. But at the same time, I'm like, what kind of relationship was that? Like, how did they meet? Like,
were they both slaves? Obviously, Eretria has a soul, a conscience, a heart. She's not
something.
Out. Yeah, something. And Zora does not.
Really? Well,
we don't know yet. But she's, I mean, but let's say, I mean, she has been chopping off elf ears. You know, the first thing she cares about is getting elf ears for money. So Eretria is not doing that. So I think on some level there's that divide between good and evil.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, I guess I agree with you. I mean, we might see something cooler in, you know, the next couple of episodes. Mm-hmm. See if maybe she, like, turns and then she's, like, you know, with the crew. Who knows? We'll kind of leave that door a little bit open. But I just, like, her hair just kills me, though. Like,
Who's?
It's, like,
Zora's? Oh, yes.
And I don't want to be like talking about hair and stuff all the time, but I'm just like it's like some serious. I guess it's practical though, because you never have it in your face.
Like Eretria and Amberly, we've talked about this before.
But other than that, I mean, it's out there, and I mean, she's got this cool kind of like war paint-ish makeup going on. So I mean, she looks pretty cool. Tattoos maybe. Did she have something on her leg? I can't remember anymore.
I don't know. I wasn't paying that much attention to her appearance. The story was catching me this time.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. You're good.
The hair just got me. But anyway, so again with Amberly trying to kind of talk her way out, right?
She is the smooth talker. I mean, she's more experienced. Oh, no. I thought you said Eretria. I'm thinking Eretria is the more experienced, the smooth talker. But Amberly, yeah. She's the one with the big mouth that gets herself in trouble.
She's like, and Eretria is like trying to butt in. She's like, don't even, you know what I mean?
Just close your mouth. Remember what happened last time? That's all she should have said.
Exactly.
Be like, literally 24 hours ago, we were in the same situation.
With Remo. So what are you doing?
Right.
She's just trying to, I don't know what she's trying to do. I think she's so naive in that sense.
Yeah. And I think also you have to remember how different lives they lived when they were being brought up as kids. I mean, Eretria, walls, of course. Amberly was royal. I mean, she's a descendant of the royal elf family. She lived in this huge palace.
Yeah.
You know, so she's definitely, I'm sure growing up, all she had to do was, I'm the princess elf, and that was it.
And that was pretty much it. Also, it brings me back to one of the scenes in the previous episodes where she is inside the sanctuary where the Elcrease is, and it's like she doesn't even get reprimanded for it. She's just like, did you beat him? Like that's the extent. So this girl has definitely lived like a cushioned life.
Yeah, luxury and
and it's almost like a lot of, I guess, more experience with like diplomacy and like whatever. So it's like talking is the way we fix things. We don't really go to like punches or swords or whatever, but this is the new world.
It is, yes.
This is the new kind of language that they're all in, so you kind of have to get with it.
Or at least she does.
Yeah, she does. And Will, thankfully, Will comes to save the day.
I literally wrote that. I write, Will saves the day.
No, I'm not even kidding. I can see it from here. She has it written down the paper. Will
saves the day, because why wouldn't he?
Well, actually, I was going to ask you about this, but I literally find Will more and more likable as the episodes go on.
Him. Absolutely. He is a likable character. Again, I think he is extremely naive. If we back it up a bit before he saves the day, when he again saved the day, well, the guy with the ear cut Perk. I was going to call him Pork. That wasn't right. Perk.
Close.
But yeah, anyway. So there's a scene where they actually capture one of the elf hunters, and he's sitting there and he, again, stabbed the dude, whatever. But like Will is like, why did you cut his throat? Because this kid literally has no hesitation whatsoever, slices his throat, the end, they're safe. And I'm sitting there with Will, like, yeah, you don't want to see characters, die, whatever, but like, this is the world, and he's like, you're no better than them. I'm like, dude, hello, how many times have you been killed in the last 24 or tried to be killed in the last 24 hours? Like, you need to get on the program. No. He's so naive.
I completely agree with you, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I was gonna like circle back to that, but we're there already. So he is so naive. And I think he does become more and more likable as the episodes have kind of gone on. I just like, at one point I was just like, I think when he was trying to resonate with Perk and he's like, no, it's okay. Look at my ears. I'm also an elf. I was like, you know what? This kid is just likable.
Yeah,
he's
he
just
totally is. Absolutely.
And when he's helping him heal with like the little the herbs, I always call it herbs. It is not herbs, it is herbs. I don't know why.
Whatever. It's not pork. It's Perk.
It's all good. But with the herbs and stuff like that, trying to heal him, and then it's just kind of sweet. He's very endearing. So I'm glad that like this is the Will that we've been.
Yeah. No, I actually really do like him and his character. But again, with Amberly, they both need to get on the program and realize that this is a life or death situation. Yes. And if you don't kill, you don't get your life.
Yes. I think the only one who really gets that is sorry, not Amberly. Eretria. Yeah. And I'm kind of like hoping that the naivete will not rub off on her. I highly doubt that.
I don't think so. I think more the tough guy, survive attitude is going to rub off on Will and Amberly. Yes. Or at least it should, because they can't just be taking prisoners and, just letting people go. Like, no.
That's not how this works. That's not how this works. Realistically, because that person that you let go is going to come around the corner. Like, it's literally like Middle Earth. It's like whatever corner that you like come across, or like you turn the corner and it's like a new threat, So you have to be super careful in this world. So, I mean, I'm glad that Eretria is kind of like on board, but I hope we'll see a little bit more development in that sense, just because these two kids really do need to get on board. Otherwise, I really fear for them if Eretria is not with the pack, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But now that we're on this whole Will thing, so Will does come to save the day.
He saves the day.
He does save the day. He does save the day, and like, here's the thing: he saves the day, with the help of Perk and Perk's friend.
Partner?
Partner?
Is that what they had addressed him as?
I don't remember. I think it might have been partner, but you know what made me laugh? Because I literally thought we were going to expect like a girl or a boy or something.
Or another elf. I was expecting another elf.
Another elf, right? That's what I meant. Like another elf. And then when they when Will and Perk go up to this cage thing,
you clearly know it's not a person.
There's no human sounds coming from there. So we're like, okay, what is this? Like once they've kind of gotten past the elf hunters, killed the other elf hunter, and get past that, we notice that it's something weird going on. I was
different,
like, very different. So it just so happens that they actually come to save Eretria and Amberly with the help of this thing. It is called Rock. R-O-C. And it's like this big I
would say like a dragon.
Like a dragon bird.
Kind of. We get like the smallest glimpse of what it is.
You know, and
when Will comes to save the day. We hear what it is, we see it. I'm sure we'll get a better introduction of what this creature actually is, but I would say like a dragon. Kinda.
It's kind I think it's kinda like
you could ride it.
Yeah, I can't remember if it reminds me more of like, I don't know if it's something that you would see on like Avatar or like Star Wars.
Right.
It was something along the lines of that, but it's definitely some sort of winged
stuck in like
creature.
Game of Thrones. Because
is that why you're thinking dragons?
Maybe because I'm rewatching right now because April is coming.
Yeah.
April is coming, guys. Okay, yeah. So I'm rewatching. So dragons are in my mind.
Totally.
But I feel like some kind of large winged monster creature
bird thing.
Creature bird. We don't know.
Bird. So it actually, just a little fun fact here about Perk and like what he is. He's actually something that's called a wing rider. It's something that they don't really, I don't believe that they're going to go into too much in the series, but he's a wing rider, and apparently his character is a lot feistier on the show in this like episode that we saw than actually in the book.
Interesting.
So those are some of the differences that I was reading, about the episode and whatnot, and those are one of the things that I picked up. And also YouTube watchers, we have a bunch of people who are always commenting. Make sure you like let us know, or if for some reason we got it wrong, 'cause we're not reading the books, we're just going off the show.
Didn't you? You started reading the book though, but you had to give it up.
I did, but it got really confusing.
Yeah.
So actually one of the YouTube not subscriber, but one of the YouTube commentators or viewers, he was like, you know what, just try and like separate them, and if you're gonna read them, just like read one and read it as the book, and the other one just watch the show.
Maybe when the season's over, you can go back and because you get a better understanding. I feel like
I'll probably pick it up then. But anyway, YouTube viewers, let us know, and if you have any more information about Perk, we can Google it, but we want to hear from you. The wing rider.
Wing rider.
But of course we can Google it, right? But we want to hear from you because that's way more fun.
So much fun.
So again, Will comes to save the day with this bird creature thing. The bird creature thing with Rock. And then, so as they're going like on their way up, so Eretria is strapped around, Amberly is there, everybody's like, there.
And the bird creature thing is lifting them out of the hole.
Yeah, is helping them being lifted out, I guess. But Zora is not done here, and even though like I think Amberly comes around and like hits her and she's kind of like knocked out a little bit to the ground, it's just enough for Amberly and Will to get away, but Zora with her Hunger Games.
Yeah, I know, right? The bow and arrow out of nowhere.
No, actually, I'll tell you a little something about that in a second, because I noticed something that was like, I was like, wait, what? But she shoots at Eretria, hits her. Eretria falls to the ground, and I'm like, no!
She definitely is wounded in her side.
But there's no time to go back.
There isn't.
There is no time. Otherwise, you're going to be risking yourself.
The winged creature is lifting you out of the hole. What are you supposed to do?
Hey, dude, can you
slow it down a little bit? Back it up. There wasn't. Yeah,
there was just nothing that they could do.
I don't really think they're going to leave her though. Like something's going to happen. It was kind of one of the cliffhangers of the episode.
Yeah. She's with this new crew of elf hunters. I don't really know what they're going to do with her.
She knows Zora, so perhaps she does know the other people too.
Maybe if there's anybody else that that appears later, because I don't think maybe she didn't know the other guy, I'm not sure. But we do get this little moment though when Zora like comes over once Eretria is like on the ground with like the arrow, the arrow coming out. I guess of her
that would be the arrow, not the bow, huh?
That would be so
clearly I don't know anything about archery.
With the arrow coming out of her side, and Zora comes over and she has this look on her face that I loved, because it's almost like, you're mine, bitch.
Who knows? Maybe she was a slave to these people.
I think Zora was really freaking like butthurt because of super, super, super hurt because Eretria left her. And Eretria is, She's something.
She's feisty. She's her own person. She's
feisty.
She's independent.
She's totally she's a badassery of sorts. Total badass chica. So if that's your thing, she's definitely like, she's definitely good.
She is good. Yeah.
She's definitely good. Oh, actually, going back to the bow and arrow thing, at one point though, when Zora has it pointed to Amberly and it's like right here on her neck, the tip touches her neck and it's like not a real arrow.
It's like rubber.
Yes.
You can see it. I didn't get that much detail.
Yes. It was kind of, I was like, no, but because I was like totally into this episode. I just thought it was so cool.
But and little things like that take you out, like bring you out of the reality of it that's disappointing a bit. Yeah.
But at the same time, the shoulder pad thingies that they all have on their jackets, which are kind of like these weird like metal things, those I love.
Yeah.
Those are like so cool. I think like Amberly has one on her left shoulder, and then like the princes have it on their jackets, like Ander and whatnot. So very, very cool stuff. But anyway, so that is kind of where we leave everybody off-ish.
In that area, in that scene.
In that area, but I want to finish off with two things before we move on to like the princes. Two things. So Amberly, while she's down in the prom sequence, she picks up 3 dices. Or little cute.
You know what? I recognize them, but I don't know what she's talking about.
She said it was for some game. I actually don't know what game it was.
Because it wasn't like a regular die, like not 6-sided. They're blue.
Yeah,
and they were like a octagon shape.
They were more on the round side.
Yeah, they definitely weren't like a normal die like we would have.
Yeah, and it's cute because like when Will's like, hey, what do you have there or whatever, she's like, oh no, nothing, whatever. She totally tries to brush it off.
Because they're together now, kind of.
Yeah, if you guys haven't been watching.
By the way, like going back just a little bit before that, I love how when Will comes to save the day, both of them were like. When, like, dude, like, it's Amberly. Like, Eretria, calm down.
I think at one point Eretria was like, oh, yeah, and we both have the hots for the same guy. And I was just like,
oh, gosh. All right. Anyway,
girls.
So back to the die.
We get it. But that was a very cute moment because she's just like, I got them because they kind of reminded me of you. And I was like, that is so cute.
It was pretty cute.
Because even at the beginning of the episode, we see Will, he wakes up and he has those stones, the elf stones.
Stuck to his hand.
And it's gross, and thankfully, I think, Amberly didn't see that. Otherwise, I don't think she would have gotten the dice. She probably would have been like, no, thank you.
It's interesting. I thought we might, since he used the stones again, and remember, every time he uses the stones, it affects him differently.
Yeah.
And I didn't really see a change, so that'll be interesting because he used the stones.
Yeah.
But nothing happened yet.
Yeah.
But we know there are consequences, so I'm curious to see what those are.
Yeah, and what's actually surprised me about the stone things, now that we're on that, is like, I actually thought, how Allanon, when he uses his magic, it's like his hands burned, Granted, maybe the magic that he's using or like whatever he's doing, totally different, maybe more powerful, but I would imagine like the elf stones are really powerful, and Will is just coming out with like these 3 little, burn marks, I guess. I guess it's like not that bad.
But he doesn't know how to control it yet either. So maybe Allanon is using a much stronger power than Will is able to at this point.
Yeah, and Allanon, it seems like he can kind of summon it, which is totally...
Which Will is kind of like his emotion, I need to be saved right now, help.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit different. It kind of comes out, I think, like, it's kind of organic, but without, like, your Will's will. And last but not least, we have the little bird thing with Perk. They try and search for Eretria, but it seems like the elf hunters were gone by that point. Yeah. And we see Eretria being carted off with the frickin'...
She's injured.
She still has the thing. Oh, no, she ripped it off. She did. But, she's injured. She's being carted off with these elf hunters, and we'll see where our rover lady ends up next episode for that part of the show.
All right, so that kind of wraps up that little sequence, but we have other things to talk about.
But we have other things to talk about because, hey, in Arborlon, now that we're no longer, where we were
in
before,
the ravine,
and if the elf hunter lands, in Arborlon we actually have. So this fake king is really getting on my nerves.
Yeah, he plots this whole pretty much double murder. Is what it is.
Yes, and I think both of those men, the princes, were very surprised to hear.
See, I thought that too. It was extremely out of character.
It says 2 sons, 1 blade, 1 purpose.
Yeah,
I wrote it down.
And as soon as he like turns away, because he's like he said it was kind of cheesy, but he's like, they'll never know you're coming, and then you can see his like eyes turn red. You can see the princes, both of them are kind of just like we wouldn't do this. Like, what's going on? Like, they are obviously suspecting something.
Yeah, but at the same time, I actually didn't think that they suspected anything.
Oh, I did.
Really?
I did.
Because they both went.
Yeah, I know they both went, but they still, like, it wasn't like, yes, father, like, we shall go. It was like,
yeah.
Are you sure?
And Commander Tilton does have a moment with Arion where she's like kind of telling him, you know,
exactly. I don't feel good about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So but almost like they're talking it out in a way. So anyway, they go out to fight the Dagdamora past the Breakline with the Warlock Blade, right? Mm-hmm. Which is kind of weird. One of the things that I was like I wasn't sure about was like the Warlock Blade is supposed to fight like black magic, not black magic, but evil. But when they get there, it's like empty.
Well, I don't understand. I was kind of curious about that too, because like, again, this like physical like land that they get to, there wasn't anything there, hardly. I mean, except the leader guy.
And whatever army we had seen before, completely gone.
Which is kind of troubling, because where are they?
That is an absolutely great point. Where the hell are these people?
They're fighting somebody.
Where the hell are these demons? Yes, they're out there fighting someone. I think at this point, like, everything's just kind of like dispersed, and lots of stuff is going on that we actually are not privy to, unfortunately. But so it kind of like, okay, so there's really nothing there. So these princes are like, what, you know?
But it goes south very quickly.
Very, very quickly. The Dagdamora appears, kind of tells them like, you know, I told you to do this and you did it anyway. And that's the moment of realization where they're like, oh,
he
wow.
said he reveals that the king is dead.
Yes.
He's been overtaken.
Yes.
And he tries to murder both, but only succeeds in murdering the one.
I know. And you know what? That's what
I know.
I predicted that last week, and I was hoping that as I was watching that wouldn't happen, because I was like, all of a sudden I start liking Arion. I was like, oh, he's kind of like, you know, it's all good, you know, with the man bun and everything.
No. Oh, yeah, man bun.
But it just goes south really, really quick.
He said, and I felt that was a tough scene, because like the other prince is just watching his brother being slaughtered right there. And they did find Bandon in the hole in the ground, but Bannon, I feel he's gone. Like, he's possessed. He is.
Well,
I feel like
he was, but then, or do you mean like once he comes back?
No, when they see him in the hole, like they try to get him, but he's like, I feel like he's not even like a human anymore.
Oh no,
he's more like
he's
a creature.
He's completely like it's gone.
Possessed. Yeah,
completely gone. But then, so in this sense, Allanon is alive.
We gotta go back to when we find out he's alive.
Yes, because I didn't want to start with that, honestly, because I was like, I have to like work my way up there, otherwise I'm just gonna blurt it out at the beginning.
But Allanon appears.
Allanon,
and he saves the day.
So Allanon is alive, and he kind of like summons this magic power. Let's hop back to when he actually like cures himself, right?
You had mentioned this last week, and as soon as I saw it, because you were like, can he go back to his healing place? You totally called it.
Yes,
I was like,
okay.
Oh my gosh, he did. He like teleported back to his healing place.
Yes. And actually, apparently, like Allanon, I'm just gonna throw this out there too. It's just kind of like he teleports a lot. You know,
he just teleports.
He just kind of is all over the place.
But he's back in his
healing
healing cave. I don't know.
I mean, he's trying to. I thought he was gonna do like the druid sleep thing, but that's too much. But he does kind of summon this power, this healing power, right? And it, you know.
He summons his master, which was very interesting. We haven't seen this character before. This brings up a bajillion questions.
Exactly. So now we're introduced to Bremen, who's the druid who trained him, right? It's the guy who has the...
But
he's kind of like a rock star.
He's dead, I'm assuming. He's gone or moved,
I would think
moved past, because Allanon basically says, I'm over this. I mean, because he's been alive for many, many years.
Yeah,
he doesn't
he's like
age.
300 years, you know, like...
So he's like, I'm done with this. I'm through. Take me with you. I'm ready to basically die. I want to die. He's injured, and his master's like, it's not your time. You got more work to do.
Sorry. So I'm going to.
He summons the healing powers. He completely heals him, and his eyes turn blue. Same blue color, by the way, as the elf stones.
As the elf stones. There we go.
There we go.
I don't know. I don't really know if that's like a...
I think it's a thing. It can't be a coincidence.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. So that's how he gets healed. And of course, since he's healed, he goes to save the day.
Of course. There are Allanon and Will. They're just saving the day left and right. And that was pretty cool. Like...
He wasn't able to save Man Bun Prince. But...
No, but Man Bun Prince was dead.
Yeah.
I don't remember if he saw that Man Bun Prince, like when Man Bun Prince...
Yeah.
When Arion died. But... he confronts the Dagdamora, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like, now I'm just like, I just want to make sure I'm saying this correctly, because I was just like, but yeah. He confronts the Dagdamora, and then And then what?
They defeat him and they go back to the palace. To where basically at this point the remaining.
I was just like,
I thought you were gonna say it. I thought you wanted the big end, the big reveal.
No, I want the next reveal. I'm waiting for mine. Mine comes at the end. I'm kidding. Just keep going. Just keep going.
They go back to the palace where obviously the prince realizes that his father is dead. That his father is the shapeshifter now and had set him up the whole time.
Well, in all honesty, they find that out when the Dagnamora starts spitting stuff out there.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, I liked it. At first, I was like, wait, what is Ander doing that he's telling, you know, Eventine or Changeantine?
Yeah, right. That's a good one. A good one.
Eventine. I always get this wrong. I'm going to say Eventine. I think that's what it is.
Whatever.
Anyway, Changeantine. This one. I thought at first I was just like, Ander, did you not listen to everything that went down? Are you just like seriously not believing this? I was kind of like confused there. However, Ander is just so good because he has him like, you know, totally tricking him.
Because he wants to be able to slaughter him.
Totally tricking him. And then he whips out this, you know, kind of like Transformers, Star Wars.
I think always would think of a lightsaber, yeah.
Totally thing. He just like kind of whips it out and
done. Bam.
And
Justice
has been served.
I like how he doesn't even realize what's happening and he's just like, well, now what? And then Allanon's like, you're king. Like,
well, yeah. And he kind of has this moment where he's just like, well, Aen's dead and Aaron's dead. My father's dead.
And
it's like, I'm the only one.
the ruler.
Exactly. I'm the only one left.
Yeah.
Which makes me king, which is so cool because you know what? I don't think I would have expected Ander to end up being king because he's kind of like the party boy.
You would expected Man Bun to be the king.
I don't even know if I expected Man Bun to be the king.
Really? Well, it had to be one of them.
I actually thought, but this is like way down the line. And I don't think this will happen.
Well, No, it's a prediction.
No. I'm not there yet. I think I'm not. I don't know. I'm like, I don't really know if I'm there yet. But yeah, I don't think I expected Ander to be king. I just didn't think he was like the right
person. But you know, maybe sometimes you have to get thrown into those roles, just like Amberly. Like, she wasn't a warrior, but she has to be a savior now.
Yeah.
These, you know, situations come to it. But yeah, so why don't we go ahead and go into your predictions?
I already said this prediction though. Okay, we'll do some predictions then, I guess. I'm so scared now. I'm just like
Your AFTERBUZZ
no.
Predictions.
Oh, okay. So here's the only problem because my last two predictions I think actually happened. I predicted last week that one of the brothers was gonna die, and I'm like, crap, like, you know, I don't want to go there. So I don't think, obviously, I think Amberly, Eretria, and Will are pretty good to go. I actually do think that Zora, we're going to have a moment where we don't really, like, know, you know, what kind of side she's on. Well, we know that she's, like, on the elf hunter side, right? But I think at some point it's going to be, like, I'm going to help these people. Yeah. I think she's kind of get on board. So I think they're either going to see another demon or something that kind of makes her, like, you know, jump a little bit on board. I also don't think that we've seen the last of Perk. I think Perk.
Oh, no, definitely not. Definitely not.
I think Pink.
See, you did it too. You did it too.
It's a really hard name.
Pink, Perk.
I don't know. Anyway, so I think that Perk, that isn't the last we've seen of him and his big bird. I think maybe what if we have I just like that better than calling it Rock. It just doesn't sound the same. So I think we're gonna see like maybe a flock of them come to save the day.
Like an army.
Yes. Like an army of big birds.
That'd be awesome. And then it'd be
Yeah,
because they wouldn't need to walk anymore.
Think about it like this. At some point, they're going to have to, like, you know, I mean, there's demons everywhere at this point. I feel like there's an army out there, so we're going to have, like, army numbers in order to actually take them.
Right.
Oh, now that I'm saying this, we'll go back to this, because we actually, like, I missed a big thing about the blood fire, but give me a second. So, yeah, those are my two big predictions, but I always thought that Amberly was going to become queen.
But she probably still could.
She still could.
There's plenty of time for people to die.
There's totally plenty of time. There's plenty of time.
I'm just saying.
There's just plenty of time for people to die or not die or just, you know, become queen. So that's that. So let's go to yours, and then we'll end it with the bloodfire thing, because that is like the coolest thing ever, because we have some direction-ish.
One thing that we kind of glossed over when they were in the school, Amberly caught a glimpse of something on like a bulletin board, like you would see in a cafeteria or a gym, and it was a window. And as soon as she saw it, she was flashed back to her own prediction, her own visions.
Yes.
I thought the paper said this building survives the earthquake. So I think that's telling us that this is important, that she's already seen this before. It's resilient because it survived already this earthquake and she's seen it. So it plays an important part. I don't know what that part is yet, but I was extremely curious about that.
Isn't that what she says? Like, this is where the blood fire is because that's what she saw in her vision.
So it's very important.
So she has to go there. So the only thing is I'm thinking, like, does it have an address? Is there any way to I know this sounds like, wait, obviously there's no addresses right here, I guess. But I mean, like, does it have an address and then maybe there's like, or maybe a landmark close to it? Like maybe, you know, like if you look at Seattle, you see like the Space Needle or whatever,
right.
You know, something like that. And maybe that's how they get to it.
Yeah, possibly.
So that's another prediction. That's what we think. I think like they'll be able to identify some sort of like huge landmark or something that, you know, drives them at least in the right direction. Yeah. So do you have any fun predictions?
I think that they are going to find Eretria. We have not seen the last of Eretria. I don't think we've seen the last of Cephalo either, even though he wasn't in this episode. I do think he's going to return, hopefully redeem himself for what he did, because seriously, what an ass move.
He's an ass munch.
He is an ash munch.
An ash munch.
No, but I think like you said, I think they're going to, at some point, they all have to work together if they're going to A, beat this thing, and B, just survive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a crazy world out there, so yes.
Okay, I'll ask you a question now.
Sure.
Now that you said about Cephalo, do you think Cephalo might actually come save Eretria?
I was thinking that, and then maybe they find Will and Amberly later.
Yes.
I don't know. There's a lot of ways this can go, but I definitely think that someone is going to find Amberly and they're going to defeat or recruit Zorro and her team because, again, like, at some point, people have to be working together in this because there's all these subdivisions of, oh, we hate this group and we hate this group here. But dudes, let me tell you, Demon Guy hates everybody and he's going to kill everybody. So all the groups need to get together and they need to realize that there is a greater force than what's going on between them.
Yes. And the enemy of my enemy.
Yes.
You know, like that phrase. How does it go? It's like,
I don't know, but we get the point.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Okay,
see, that's
there
what
we
I thought,
go.
but I thought
Okay,
that would seem
so
too
the
easy.
enemy of my enemy is my friend.
It was like,
so
God told us.
We heard it. It's just like, I'm like, what? No, seriously though, that is exactly that's the concept of this whole like film. This whole show is literally like we all have to band together.
Yes.
You know, and it's very much good versus evil, but like, I mean, at some point, the rest of the evils don't matter because...
No, the one supreme evil is going to take over all.
Exactly. It's the same thing. It's like the same thing in Lord of the Rings. You know what? Yeah, the elves and the humans...
And Star
and
Wars. I mean, this is like the same, like... you know, thing. There's wars going on. It's a tale that gets told over and over again because it is like the supreme tale, good versus evil. So I think
versus evil.
I think they're all gonna have to band together.
Exactly, and hopefully we'll see that flock of birds. I'm just really excited for that.
Birds, baby.
Yeah, totally.
I was thinking with dragon. I think they're gonna be dragons.
They're very cute. Yeah.
Cute.
They're very
oh goodness.
They're very cool looking, and I think we can safely say though we've seen maybe the last of the changeling. I mean, that thing got stabbed right through the heart. Hopefully it'll be the last thing. The Reaper seems pretty dead. The Dagdamore.
Well, he seemed pretty dead the last time too, so we'll see.
Well, yeah, that's true. And at this point, it's like you can never know if people are really dead. It's like, is Arion really dead?
I think at this point
Who knows?
they're gonna the army's really the only missing piece right now. Where is this army? Where did the demons go?
Yeah, that's my big question.
Plus, I mean, every time the tree keeps dying, more demons get released. So, you know, it could possibly go on for a long time.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. So that is about it for us. Not about it. That is it for us.
That is it
for us. Okay, so Carrie Lane will hopefully be joining us next week.
I think so, yeah.
Where can people find you, Heather?
All right. Listen, we had so many things to talk about, so why don't you talk to me about them? Twitter, Instagram, on our YouTube channel. You can find me, Heather Gardner, at HeatherGTV.
Awesome. And you can find me at MGCVSST on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And yeah, tweet us. We're using the hashtag ABTVTSC. It's
as in the Shannara Chronicles. I didn't get it until I said it.
We had to help her out.
I am a bit.
Also, thank you, YouTube viewers, for telling Heather.
I was about to say, I know what it means now. know.
Thank you for telling Heather what OG means. And I actually like the concept of original girl. I'm just saying.
I know there was a little
correct,
debate on YouTube on actually what it was, but you know what? They both work, and clearly, I am so gangster.
She is so.
I mean, really,
she is so Heather G, the OG.
I'm really not. But thank you.
Yeah, totally. And our last episode has like about 4,000 views. Thank you so much, YouTube viewers.
Give it likes,
comment. We love to hear what you guys have to say, and we try to comment back as often as possible. We're totally, reading into your comments, and we love the whole like community aspect. So please get at us. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and
all of them.
Do not forget to follow AfterBuzz TV on Twitter, on Instagram, and also subscribe to the yeah, I know, it's just a lot. I was so excited. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel because we have tons of other shows that are amazing. So yeah, I think that about does it. And also rate us on iTunes if you are listening on the podcast version, but if not, keep watching us on YouTube because that's what we love.
That's right.
So we'll see you next week for episode 8.
Yay!
Catch you later.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.